Hello students. In today's session, we will conclude the essay, The Spectator's Account of Himself. In the last two classes, we have read that Mr. Spectator, just like his name, is a spectator of humanity. And he is curious to study the manners and activities of different sections of society, and this curiosity compels him to visit public places like coffee houses, exchanges, even foreign countries. Through his attentive observation of all kinds of people, he has become qualified in all the theoretical aspects of most professions. Further, he declares his political impartiality. Now, let us continue with the text. I have given the reader just so much of my history and character as to let him see I am not altogether unqualified for the business I have undertaken. Mr. Spectator says, I have given the reader an account of my background and character as to let him see I am not altogether unqualified. So he can see, the reader can see that I am not completely unfit or inexperienced for the business that I have undertaken, that I have taken on. He considers himself qualified enough for the profession of an observer. As for other particulars in my life and adventures, I shall insert them in the following papers as I shall see occasion. As for other particulars and as far as other certain details of my life and my activities are concerned, I shall insert them in the following papers. That means I will discuss them in my next papers whenever I find the suitable occasion. In the meantime, when I consider how much I have seen, read, and heard, I begin to blame my own taciturnity. In the meantime, for now, I have seen, read, and heard enough, but I am unable to express it in his speech. And for this, he blames his taciturn nature. Taciturnity means his quietness. He is a person who is not in the habit of talking much. So he blames his taciturnity. And since I have neither time nor inclination to communicate the fullness of my heart in speech, I am resolved to do it in writing and to print myself out, if possible, before I die. And since I have neither time nor inclination, and I neither have much time nor desire to communicate my heart out in speech, I am resolved to do it in writing and to print myself out. So I am determined to do it in writing form and print it out before I die. So he is unable to express himself in speech. He wishes to convey his thoughts in the writing form. I have been often told by my friends that it is pity so many useful discoveries which I have made should be in the possession of a silent man. Next he says, my friends have often told me that it's a pity, that it's a shame if my useful discoveries, that means my useful observations on different fields, remain in the possession of a silent man, that remains unspoken and unpublished. Mr. Spectator has always been advised by his friends to make it available for others. For this reason, therefore, I shall publish a sheet full of thoughts every morning for the benefit of my contemporaries. And since he is unable to express himself in a speech, he will publish his sheet full of thoughts in printed form for the benefit of the people of his contemporaries, people around him, around me. And if I can anyway contribute to the diversion or improvement of the country in which I live, I shall leave it, when I am summoned out of it, with the secret satisfaction of thinking that I have not lived in vain. Now, these lines indicates that Mr. Spectator has a purpose for life, and the purpose is to contribute or to bring a positive change in the life and manners of his countries, when he says, if I can anyway contribute to the diversion or improvement of the country in which I live. He will aim at the entertainment and improvement of his countrymen. I shall leave it when I am summoned out of it. If he succeeds in his goal, in his aim, so he can die peacefully, thinking that I have not lived in vain. I have not wasted my life. I have done something fruitful. And the achievement of this aim will give him much satisfaction that he has done his duty. There are three very material points which I have not spoken to in this paper, and which for several important reasons I must keep to myself, at least for some time. I mean an account of my name, my age, and my lodgings. Though Mr. Spectator has revealed much of himself, still he does not want to reveal three important points concerning himself for many important reasons. I must keep to myself, at least for some time. He does not wish to reveal three important points related to his life. I mean, by which he means, by 3 points, he means his name, his age, and his lodgings, that means his address. I must confess, I would gratify my reader in anything that is reasonable. Mr. Spectator admits here that he would satisfy his reader in anything that is reasonable, that is logical. But as for these three particulars, though I am sensible they might tend very much to the embellishment of my paper, I cannot yet come to a resolution of communicating them to the public. But as for these three particulars, but for three specific details about him, he would maintain his silence. Though I am sensible they might tend very much to the embellishment of my paper, though he thinks if he gives this information, this would be like an embellishment, like an enhancement, an addition to his writing, but he would not disclose it to the public, to his readers. And why does he decide so? They would indeed draw me out of that obscurity which I have enjoyed for many years, expose me in public places to several salutes and civilities which have been always very disagreeable to me, because he doesn't want to reveal his identity, because he thinks this would be because they would, by providing specific details like his name and address, he would come out of his state of obscurity, that means anonymity. People doesn't know him. But if he gives these three specific details, people will start recognizing him, and people will expose him. people will start recognizing him, which have been always very disagreeable to me, for the greatest pain I can suffer is the being talked to and being stared at. If he would come out of a state of anonymity, which he has enjoyed for many years, people will start recognizing him. They would greet him everywhere, like saluting and other such civilities. And this is the thing that he had always disliked. This has been always a disagreeable thing to the spectator. For the greatest pain I can suffer is the being talked to and being stared at. The greatest pain, the greatest embarrassment he can suffer is being talked to or stared at. Mr. Spectator wishes to remain unnoticed or to avoid being talked to or looked at. He does not wish to be exposed in the public, which might cause him pain. It is for this reason, likewise, that I keep my complexion and dress as very great secrets, though it is not impossible, but I may make discoveries of both in the progress of the work I have undertaken. And it is for this reason, and that's why he keeps his identity hidden. And though it is not impossible, though this is not impossible to do, but he may discover it in the progress of his work that he has undertaken. After having been thus particular upon myself, I shall in tomorrow's paper give an account of those gentlemen who are concerned with me in this work. And lastly, he says, I have given particulars about myself, and in tomorrow's paper, that is his next paper, he will give an account of other persons, gentlemen, other persons who are involved with me in this work. He is talking about the other members of his club, the Spectators Club. For as I have before intimated, a plan of it is laid and concerted, as all other matters of importance are in a club. A plan for his work has been laid out in the club. However, as my friends have engaged me to stand in the front, those who have a mind to correspond with me may direct their letters to the Spectator at Mr. Buckley's in Little Britain. And being the chief organizer, my friends have engaged me to stand in the front. That means he is the chief organizer of the club, and being the chief organizer of this club, of this group, his friends have suggested his name for the correspondence, and he has given here his address, which is to the Spectator at Mr. Buckley's in Little Britain. So he has given here his address if someone wishes to write him. For I must further acquaint the reader that though our club meets only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have appointed a committee to sit every night for the inspection of all such papers as may contribute to the advancement of the public weal. In these last lines of this essay, he says, I must further acquaint the reader. I must inform the reader that our club meets only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we have a committee that sits every night for the evaluation, for the inspection of the papers that may contribute to the advancement of the public weal, papers that are specifically designed for the betterment of public. So students, in this essay, Edison has introduced a major fictional character from his periodical, The Spectator, and we have finished with this. In Edison's next essay, we will get to read about another character from the same periodical. Thank you.